All right, friends, you remember Old Blue? Well, it's been about a year or two, I can't remember, probably 2 years, since we started messing with these saws, and I'm kind of jazzed up to get them going again. So we are going to get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man, and this here is the chainsaw that I learned to cut with. I grew up with. I remember when Grandpa bought it when I was just a kid. He had a big red Super XL Homelite, and it gave up the ghost. It was a rickety. It was in pretty rough shape. There was a lot of stuff broke on it. I remember it was just a carcass basically by the time it was done. Unfortunately, I was the one who got rid of it. I wish I hadn't have, but I threw it on a pallet with some miscellaneous stuff and took it to an auction just to clean up and got rid of it. And that was dumb because I probably could have fixed it, but because that's what we're going to do to this one. This is actually a limited edition saw that came out in, I want to say like 93. I guess we could probably run numbers and figure that out, but I don't know, but the story as such goes, I was cutting a tree with it, and this is probably when I was in high school, and it gave up the ghost. It locked up tight. And then a couple years ago, when we got all jazzed up about saws, I got it out, and I got it to break free, and I took it out and sawed with it, and then it immediately bogged down and locked up again. And you can see in there that there is some serious scoring on the piston, so that's toast. So what to do, friends? Not to be deterred, I went on the old interweb and I found this, which should be a brand new Chinesium, although it says premium, cylinder assembly for a Super XL Homelite. And I'm hoping that is going to get us all fixed up, friends. It looks about right, doesn't it, from just looking here? But the thing is, to do this process, we have to pretty well strip her down. I think that I can leave, because I'm thinking about this, I think I can leave the clutch on, but I have to take the flywheel off, I believe. I'm not very good at this because I've torn them down a little bit, but not to this extent. But what I'm getting at is you got to take a lot of this off so that you can physically get in there to the bolts and that. But I think that what you will do is, well, let's table what I'm thinking, because thinking is what gets you in trouble. We'll take the wraparound handle off, we'll take the ratchet cover off, we'll end up taking this all loose, the carburetor and all that comes off, the back handle, but I'm not sure if you probably have to take the fuel tank off, which wraps around the whole thing. I'm not sure. We'll dive in and see what we can get away with. I'm a fan of taking loose the least amount of stuff possible, just because why should we work our Knudsen off? And this has a freshly rebuilt carburetor because we did that to it in hopes of trying to get it revivaled, and it did run and cut for a little bit, but it just couldn't overcome the sadness that was already there. So we're gonna have to do some cleaning too, because I see that we didn't clean it all the way up when we first started. And then also another struggle bus is that it's been sitting down here and it's just very covered with trash. These should be like hex-headed screws, kind of like what's in the clutch cover or the pull start cover thing. So maybe we can even get a socket on them. And I'm hoping I can just take if I take those two out, and then, oh boys, it is caked with stuff. It's gonna be nice and clean when we're done though, because I wonder, is that an Allen? That might be an Allen headed one. Why? I tell you, I love it when places do like 14 different styles of fastener, you know. But yeah, we want to try to also be gentle because the paint on it is fairly good, other than at the bottom of the handle. So I want to, you know, kind of keep it nice. So we're gonna need an Allen head, and we're also gonna need to keep cleaning on this because we're not getting anywhere with that. We need more trash scraped out of there. Get those two off. I think that will come off as one without having to do a bunch. There we go. All right. Is it going to end up being the socket that I just put away? Yes, it is. Also, but not limited to, well, I have a magnetic tray, but I've got all these magnetic trays and they're always full, and I'm getting sick of that. I mean, come on, friends. Let's clean up a little bit and let's free ourselves a magnetic tray. There. Magnetic tray empty. We're going to hope that everything comes loose out of it. We might actually get us a generous sized flathead screwdriver here, and then that way we can do the quick turn, hopefully getting stuff loose. I'm hoping that this is not a part except today. You know, I'm hoping that I have everything to make this happen. Alright, yeah, that's under a little bit of tension. That we got to clean out better. Okay. Now we're going to probably dig into our new friends, the stack of bits here, right? No, that has no Allen-headed stuff. Well, that's a bunch of malarkey, because I don't know that I have any Allen-headed stuff down here. Do I? Yeah, okay. I have a partial metal box full of Allen keys. I'm impressed. Why is that? Okay, let's also take these loose simultaneously here, because it looks to me like that bolt, the Allen bolt, is not coming out of the bar. And I'm afraid that's going to cause us damage if we don't use our wits about us. I'm sure a guy that works on these all the time knows all the stuff. There's a guy on YouTube that does know all this stuff. Leon's Chainsaw Repair. That guy appears to be a walking encyclopedia of these. So that's cool. I am not. I am just an enthusiast, not an expert. Okay. Let's get this the rest of the way loose. There. I don't know why that decided it didn't want to. Let's put those all close together. There we go. We'll try to clean that stuff up as we put her back together. What did I say we're taking loose? Oh yeah. We're going to try to leave that side together unless we decide we want to clean behind it. We might end up having to take it loose. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about these to know exactly. I've kind of watched some videos to try to refresh my brain on some of it, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not that difficult, is it? Let's see here. Try to keep our mess corralled, at least, for the most part. Let's take this off, because I know this has to come off. And I know the carburetor has to come off. So we'll do that. And I've had all this off already once, so it's not like it should be seized in there, because when we first got it running, it had some, I don't remember what we did. Well, I cleaned it out. I remember that because it was horrendously dirty. And that's probably what also led to its demise. Its gradual demise. Its imminent demise that day was that the gas wasn't mixed right, I guess. And it made it not happy. But being full of schmutz is what is a killer to saws. And this one, when we first revivaled it, it was definitely full of schmutz. I mean, it was pretty bad. Alright, so let's one more down there. We gotta be gentle with this, because this has the special sticker on it. We don't wanna ruin that. That's not really replaceable. Then we want to take off the shut off of the coil. Set this aside. Let's see here. Looking it over to remember how she's made. Flywheel has to come off, I know that. Because and the reason the flywheel has to come off is because the coil has to come off, because the bracket is bolted to the side of the head. I don't know, maybe a guy could get it without that, but like maybe he could take the, could he take that? That certainly would be interesting, wouldn't it, to know if he could take that loose without. I'm afraid though that that's one of those deals where the harder you work to avoid work, you're just actually creating more work for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, well, did that come? I don't remember that. But it looks like the fuel line came loose. Wonder when that happened. I don't remember pulling that off of there. We might be replacing that again too then. And I might have done that. Can I get you out of there? Probably not. You like how I just jump around from one thing to the next without any sort of proper explanation? I'm taking the carburetor out, see? This is kind of a major teardown, see? There's a lot of stuff. See? Oh boys, isn't this working great for you? Don't you just love it? Let's put that in there. That's gonna go there. Will that come out of there just so we don't break it? Or will we break it taking it out of there? Okay. Well, there shouldn't be anything holding you yet anymore. Sure, that's how I took it off last time. Maybe it's... Okay, struggle bus it is. Friends, struggle bus it is. Let's ride the struggle train. Maybe that's not the way you took it off of there. Or I took it off last time. I thought it was. Is it my gaskets hanging up on there? It's almost what it's like. Sadness is ensuing very fastly. And I don't remember what I'm doing wrong. Other than maybe I should have taken the... I don't think the blue piece comes off though until you take the carburetor out. I think you got to get to the bolts, friends. There. We're gonna go now. That was a struggle bus. But we got it. Yeah, I think you have to take that all out so you can get to the 4 bolts underneath here. Yeah, okay, see, there's a... I knew I had that off before. I just didn't know why we were struggling so hard. Okay, what else comes loose here? Let me think. We got to take the oiler line off. Boy, this is really great. This is great camera work I'm providing you. I'm not showing you anything at all. But we need to get that oil line off. And then we need to get... There should be one on the other side too from where it's coming in. We're going to have to get that somehow. And we got to get this handle off of here. Handle assembly. Which should be these 4 bolts up top. And this 1 bolt down below. Should take that loose. This is fascinating for you, I know. Also, it's not going to work. Can't use this ginormous socket obnoxious thing for the bottom two. I have to either get a shallow well or get one of these old-fashioned fellers here. And what I'm wondering is if I can't just get them broke loose and then get them with a screwdriver here. This is actually your intake port, and you'll see in a minute that it just goes right down into there. There's probably then a gasket between the blue and the casting, so we're gonna have to investigate that. I might have put a new coil on this too, did I? I don't remember. It looks awfully nice. Does that look like something I did? I gotta go back and watch the old videos to remember. Like I said, I think that was 2 years ago. There's another one. Does that happen to be the same length? They are. Okay, good. Let's check here. Okay. What else? What else? What else is holding? We gotta get those two lines loose. That's not part, is that part of this? No, that's just up against there. Okay, how do we want to do this? Is that, oh, they were thinking ahead. Like a carpenter who makes stairs. They were thinking ahead. So I should be able to, oh, it's even the same size. They were thinking, friends. I should be able to just take this totally out of the way then. Oh, that one's not the same size though, is it? Is it a one of these? No, it's smaller. I don't even know what that was. That wasn't really labeled. Is it a 9? No. Is it a 10? It's probably a 3/8, but of course we're not gonna do the appropriate tools. We're gonna use the wrong ones and then complain later that stuff is stripped off and won't play nice. I also don't remember if this oiler was working, was it? I have to investigate that too. This one's actually the oil supply line because it goes to the bottom of the hand pump oiler. But this is also an automatic oiling saw. It's just that they put, like, you could prime it too. They were thinking, you know, they had like a backup setup. You could do both. Oh, I bet that oil tank's full and going to leak oil the entire time. So that's cool if it does that. All right, what's holding us still? There's got to be something. No, I guess just gasket sealing is holding us mainly. And then that oil line, which we need to take loose, but it's going to be how do we get to it affair? The oil line at the bottom. I like how I'm trying every which way to just keep you from seeing what's happening, you know? It seems like. All right, there's a little crusty, rusty nasties in there, isn't there? There's our intake. Boy, I bet I could get that off of there without taking any more loose, other than the bolt that's in here. But the question remains then, we can't clean up behind it very good. And it would be cool to clean her all up, wouldn't it? Instead of struggle bussing with it the whole time. But in order to, oh, and then there's the, let's see here. That might be why you have to take that loose, because you might have to take this loose to get that out of there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm betting this has to all come off in order to okay. Let's think about this. Can we get the center section out of the the surround. I've had the flywheel off on this one already once, so it's probably not going to be a terrible affair. So maybe we ought to just go for it and take that off. And then can we take off this tank? We might be able to take off the tank and make it easier on ourselves. I think we can. I think that's why people do it that way. So, you know, don't ever let not knowing stop you from what you're doing, 'cause, you know, somebody else put it together and they were probably stupider than you anyway. So don't let that get you down. Yeah, we're gonna make a mess though on let's put this under there. There's some residual oil in that oil tank and it's making a mess. Okay, there's our little ratcheting starter things. You know, stuff that they didn't change for years and years and years. It's just interesting. Okay, 1/2 inch, is that what it is? Or is it 9/16? No, it's 1/2 inch. Okay, let's get that off of there. Ooh, actually, last time I did that, I had the good sense to... this is not smart, people. Don't do this, because this is how you break fins. But I'm doing it anyway. Should be a split washer and a flat washer, I believe, on that. Or is that a flat washer, or is that a I thought the other one had a flat washer, but it might have grown to the metal. Oh well, we'll pry it up and see what happens. Holy cannolis, boys. That's what happens when you pull a flywheel right there. Yeah, I think that was smart to pull the flywheel. I guess we didn't have it off of this one, did we? And that's why it was such a knutson to get together there. It actually popped off good, but look how nasty it is. That's why we need to clean behind there whilst we're doing this, so that we don't have sadness later. And then we need to figure out, all of this stuff that's on here is dirt mixed with bar oil, you know, or gas oil mix. That's what it is. And it becomes this proprietary mixture of sadness there. Let's pull the coil off. We'll take this whole bracket off. See, this one's solid state, friends, so it doesn't have points underneath there if you didn't get that, like that other one. This one has a magnetic trigger pickup, the flywheel, and then this thing has like an eye, and it senses magically, is how they work. And then this one. don't you love the way that I take care of you and show you all of the angles of this nonsense? Isn't that cool? Coming out of there. I don't really know where I'm going to go with this yet, because I don't want to lose these bolts. I guess I can put them. I kind of try to put stuff when I put it in a magnetic tray, like in groups, not just throw the whole thing on the ground. Ooh, nasty stuff. That is caked in there, friends. No wonder. No wonder. Look at that. And that's supposed to be open so air can circulate. And look at all of that nasties. So yeah, this is why we're gonna take her all the way down, like I was saying. You could have probably swapped her out without taking this next part off, but it certainly seems like you want to take it off because of all of the nastiness. And it probably doesn't take as long as you think to get trash in places, you know. Now granted, you're looking at a lifetime of stuff, because I know it's never been taken apart, so what you see is what you get. Will that do that? I'm hoping that I think these 3 bolts will let us pull the fuel tank setup off of the block and piston. Oh, those aren't that long. Okay. Okay. Now, the question is, where does that separate? That should just pull apart. Ooh, guess there's still a little bit of fuel in it too. I guess I wasn't real. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was hoping would happen, is it'll pull this around and your fuel tank goes bye-bye. Look at how crusty nasty that is. And now we're down here to the important part. And look at how crappy it is, full of crusty, rusty nasties. I'm going to have to just shut you off for a good while, and I may not come back to this tonight yet, because this is going to take a good amount of cleaning. And I don't want to skip on that, because we don't want to ruin our new deal, for one, and number two, I don't want to hurt the finish. I want to save as much blue paint as I can. So I'm going to take my time and just gently try to rake some stuff out, you know, and then maybe wash it up with something. I don't know what yet. Soapy water, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's caked on there, friends. And I wonder if I should put some of these back in. And you're going to say, why are you doing that? Well, what I'm wondering is, I don't want dirt to go in the holes and then end up busting out the aluminum on the block. So I might just screw some of them in, and then that way the holes are protected while we're working, and then we can go from there. But friends, it's a dirty mess. I mean, I knew it was a little dirty, but I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, that just shows you how much stuff accumulates over a lifetime. So yeah, we're gonna take our time here and just keep gnawing away at this gently so we don't ruin anything. And then I will bring you back when we are ready to attempt our pulling of our piston and jug assembly. But I feel like this is going to take a while here, cleaning this up. And then also another thing I'm not sure about is I don't have this gasket, I bet, unless that... Well, friends, the GoPro died. What a shocker. And isn't it amazing that all of that crap could have been buried in there? I got it cleaned up pretty decent, and then I went ahead and pulled it apart. Because I got to thinking, friends, before I got to thinking about this gasket, and of course it tore when I pulled it off, so I don't have that. So I got to order that anyway. Then I thought maybe I should go ahead and pull the piston off and make sure that the bearings are good in this thing. And they appear to be. There is very little play in the main bearing there, or the big end of the rod bearing, and then this end with the piston pin is excellent. All the little rollers turn, and it's tight. And I'm sure it's a little bit loose, like on there's maybe a little bit of side to side almost, but I think it's going to be passable because we're not going to be doing a whole lot with this. And like I said, it feels tight. There's no like back and forth play in it. So I think it's going to be what we want. I mean, it was running great before, and it wasn't like it was knocking or whatever. But I wanted to make sure that this bearing in the end of the rod was still good, because if it wasn't, then we were going to have to do some tear down. But it's going to work just fine, I believe. So I will get a gasket coming, and then once that is accomplished, or once it arrives, I should say, basically we're going to just reverse of the way we took it apart here. I got to get that off and get that cleaned up good. And I mean, everything else looks really good, surprisingly enough, for the way that it, it being a well used saw. You can see the major malfunction there. And actually, the one side, it was this side, either the snap ring is partially gone, or they used a different type of snap ring in that one, because it was almost different. The pin is different. The pin is solid on one end on the original, which is kind of odd, but I don't know. It's very obviously got some scoring, and that was our problem of what led to its meltdown. But everything else I think will pass to live another day, because it's just all that's in there, like in these rod bearing, is needle bearing rollers. And so they're either tight or they're not. You're not going to get, buying new rollers isn't going to gain you anything if it's already tight. So, and I don't really look forward to having to change that anyway. So we're just going to fly with this again, and I think it'll be fine. But we'll find out. Maybe it'll fly apart and I'll regret my decision. But we can buy more parts and go again, Super XL parts are out there, friends, so we can make it happen. But I think we got everything we need except a gasket, believe it or not. So I'll get that coming, and then I'll get some more of this cleaned up, because there's more homework here to do. That fuel line, I guess I didn't replace it on that one. That is super duper stiff. I've got some new ones laying here somewhere. I just saw them the other day. I don't know. I'll have to dig. I ordered like 3 or 4 of those, or whatever they came in a pack of, so I could have some stuff on hand. But But of course now, when I want to show you, I can't find them. But I'll figure it out. I've got stuff and things laying around, and anywho, I know I've got at least one because I just moved it the other day. And then what we'll have to do is work at this, which is, I don't think that that's a lot of fun, if I recall, when I did it last time on the other one. But this sucker's pretty stiff, I think. Like, that isn't going to really want to go over top of anything. So we'll investigate that or whatever we got to do. But that's a later's problem, not a today's problem, you know. Today's problem was tearing her down and seeing where we stood. And now we know, so we'll get the stuff we need, and then we can start building back better, except we'll actually do it. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.